shit. It's the new intro. Welcome to bullshit.
For a second, that was the most gangster shit I've ever seen you do. Just because, like, usually you'll take a hit and blow it out immediately.
Yeah.
Just like going like straight up, like almost with like the French inhale. Yeah, there it is.
Sometimes you gotta like triple inhale.
Jesus Christ.
You might get high for the first time in your life.
No, it's just I have bitch lungs and just smoke in general is gonna fuck me up.
Oh, is that a Holocaust joke?
No, but it could be.
Okay.
But I do just have bitch lungs.
Strawberry Fanta, not a sponsor. Speaking of sponsors, let's go ahead and do that before we get going. This episode of Bullshit is proudly presented to you by Pixel Popcorn Media Group and Unscripted Studios.
And that is it.
That is all. So we're going to continue in the story
Of how you met your business partner and best friend.
Right, that part I remember.
It's you left off. I actually remember this too, for once. You left off when I don't recall the exact job, but Chris basically called you and was like, "What are you doing?"
All right, so then we're kind of at the part where I started managing crews a little bit.
Yeah. Also.
I'm going to try to cough away from the microphone because that's probably going to be rough
Yeah.
for people to listen to. Oh, I also told my buddy, and I'm going to expose part of my nerd side. I play this game called Evany. It's like a war game.
Oh, okay. I didn't know the actual name.
I
of
told
it.
my buddy Josh I'd give him a shout out because he's been watching the show.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't know he was watching the show, so Josh, what's up, brother? There's the shout out. All right, so we're gonna get. I should probably keep smoking this bowl, but we're gonna get back into the story. And yeah, so I had been working for Chris at this point for a little while, probably about a month and a half, I guess, and finally progressed into a different phase of torture
Instead of just sanding.
and painting. So now I was doing lighting projects in the corporate arena for, all manner of companies. One that sticks out, one job that was particularly fun to build was Hewlett Packard,
Oh, cool.
their corporate event thing. I actually did a Marriott event inside Marriott for Marriott. That was boring, but
They got nice hotels.
we built it. Yeah, it was a really nice hotel.
JW or
Yeah, I think it was the JW Marriott that we did that inside of. Anyways, at this point, I'm doing all kinds of different stuff now for Chris, and I had gotten a company phone from the company that he was working for called Hands On Labor, and so now I had a company phone. I was helping him schedule things. I was accountable to him on job sites as his manager, project manager, whatever you want to call it, crew chief. And so at this point, I don't know that we were really friends. More, I work for this guy,
Sure.
and
but there's a level of trust and
well, yeah, I think he's starting to realize that if I say I'm going to do something, that I'm going to do it, which is something that I still like to death. I will be that person. Like if I tell you I'm going to do it, it's going to happen.
I try to as much as I can. Certain things like they'll fall through, which and like I feel shit for it afterwards. But like I would say for the most part, I'm able to. If I say I'll do it, I'm pretty able to do it.
Yeah, so you just weakened your resume
Oh well,
right then. You're like, I almost do it.
I like to think I do, but I don't want to say it every single time because someone will then be like, "Well, what about this time?" And I'll be like, "Ah, fuck yeah, you got me."
So there is a loophole in the truth too, because if you become a parent, sometimes you say things out loud just as a pacifier to get them away from you.
Yeah,
And
but then that bites you
then
in the ass.
then that narrative keeps coming up about how you're a failure at following through on your promises. So I will say that sometimes I will tell my kids things that I don't do, but
I feel like as a parent, you kind of get a pass though.
yeah, I think that's just like
That's why too. Like when it comes to like certain commitments, and this is more for like social gatherings or something. If someone's like, "Do you want to go?" or like, "Oh, like you're gonna go to this," I usually hit them with like I should be able to, or maybe, just because then if I don't feel as bad. I didn't say, "Oh, I'll go to that."
Yeah, that's different. I mean, but see, I just say no.
That's fair.
No. Can you? No.
Yeah, that's fair.
After I don't even know what the word after can you is. It's just a no before you get there. You know. Seriously. Trying to get me to do something is like that Robert Frost poem, The Road Less Traveled. I am the less traveled one.
I mean,
I don't not. I mean, and I give a lot. I'll give a lot of time to people and stuff like that. But like I'm an old man. You know, maybe not fit like in age or whatever, but mentally, like,
yeah.
yo, I feel like those hours when the sun is going down,
Oh, that's the
and
hardest
it's
time to get me to do anything.
getting into darkness. Well, I have a weird thing, like I can't see at night sometimes. You know,
No, yeah.
The-
I got astigmatism. I get it.
the optometrist has told me I'm crazy though. I'm like, don't you have glasses for people that can't see at night? And he just looked at me like I was a maniac. I'm like, okay, fine.
Apparently,
then.
that is a thing, though. Not to.
It
name
absolutely is a
names.
thing.
Yeah. Previous employer of mine that you know, she had those. Like,
Oh.
she literally had glasses for driving at night.
Oh, so maybe see, I haven't been in 20 years.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, they might
You're
have.
making it seem like it was like a year ago, and they're like, doesn't exist, man.
Yeah, no, they might have changed things since then. But
Probably.
I wasn't looking for that humiliation twice. I
Wow.
just
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm working at a greater role with Chris. I think we could say that's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
And then his wife was very pregnant at the time. I remember that distinctly because one of the projects that we went to do was we built this like little fashion show thing in a fucking fountain
That's pretty cool.
of this shopping center in Scottsdale where her boutique was.
Oh.
And I remember like seeing her. I was like, I don't know if I met her or not, but I was like, God damn, she's pregnant as fuck. Like, like it looked like she was about to burst.
Yeah.
And she's still doing stuff. So
Is this the same place that? This is kind of like where.
we're getting there.
Okay.
That's where
Yeah.
we're heading there. So the boutique is like an unintentional foreshadowing. It's kind of placing where we're gonna go with this segment of the story.
Yeah. Okay. Making sure because I've heard the story one time and it was hilarious.
Yeah, so she's pregnant. Me and Chris and Rian were building this thing.
It took me a second.
Right.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, yep. So we're building this thing in, I feel like it must have been Katie was telling Chris during the day, that she was getting stressed out by her landlord. Because she was going to move her boutique from one place to another place, and the landlord was giving her a really hard time about taking some of the things out of the store that she had specially made for the aesthetic of her store,
Right.
And so it was hers. But the landlord kept saying that it was like a tenant improvement, but it belonged to her now. And so she was trying to keep it, and they were like these really intricate fountains, like they had a rock wall, and they were like backlit,
Okay.
and a waterfall. I don't know.
pretty cool.
Yeah, they were cool. They were cool.
What
I
kind
mean,
of boutique was it though? Like,
high end women's clothing.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And so I guess she was trying to keep the stuff.
Sure.
And I think if I remember correctly how it was going at the time, she was going to lease out that property to a salon.
This is the landlord.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the salon loved the fountains
Of course,
because
they sound fucking rad.
yeah, well, it would have made for great stations
For sure.
For the clients.
Well,
And
'cause
so
then also too, that's like no other salon has this.
yeah, and so this is happening.
Sure.
And we're building the job, and then we go to lunch.
I like how you're like, it's so sweet, and you keep drinking it.
Well, I'm committed. I mean,
Well, that's fair.
I opened it. You don't open a soda and let it go to waste.
That's true, especially a Mexican soda.
And I'm just mentally preparing. I'm pretending it's beer in my head. So,
God, you're weak.
yeah, I know. So, so this is happening, and we go to lunch, and we go to the Tilted Kilt.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do those still exist?
I have no idea. I really.
They have awesome wings.
Oh, right. I don't think I ever had the wings, but I mean, so the concept is because
It's Irish Hooters.
at some point, yeah, kind of. but kind of also like slutty schoolgirl.
Well, okay,
'Cause
when
they
I said
were-
Irish, yeah, because like they wear like the tartan skirts. And
Yeah, they wear tiny little plaid skirts, and then the blouse
the white button
that's
up.
just basically a boob holder.
Yeah,
You know, it's just
Yeah.
holding them there. It's not like a garment.
like
But
a napkin.
But yeah, so we're at this place having lunch, and this is at which point Chris was telling me about this stuff, and I'm sitting there listening to him, like, oh, that's weird, you know. Like I don't know anything about owning anything at this point in my life. I like had a Ford Ranger that was on a loan. That's as close as I got to owning anything.
So still not technically owning.
Right. Just owing. I was owing on it.
Me.
And so I'm listening to him tell the story about this landlord and the predicament. And I don't know why, but I'm like, I got an idea, you know, like, and he goes, what? I'm like, oh, I got an idea. I think I could get your stuff. I think we could get it all out of there. And he's like, what? Like, just what, you know,
Yeah, like kind of like
he still doesn't really know me. I just am the guy that works for him that's doing better than the rest of the guys that
Right.
work for him. And so we're having lunch, and we're talking mostly about work, but he brings this in because, you know, he's been dealing with it all day on the job site in front of us. It's like, well, okay, fine, you know. So, but yeah, I'm like, I got an idea. And he's like, oh, okay. And I kind of explained to him what the idea is, and he goes, dude, he said, that might work. I'm like, oh, it'll work.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it'll work. And so I told him I'll do it tonight. I was like, I'll do it tonight. After we get done working, I'll go right over there and we'll do it. I was like, I got my tools already. It's going to be easy.
Yeah.
And so me and Rian, after we finished our shift that day, because I was taking him with me, I'm like, I need him because I need an assistant. I mean, it's a lot of stuff.
right.
And-
Because you
and-
guys had the truck, right?
Well, it was just my Ford Ranger.
Oh, okay. I don't know why. Oh, it was just a different job with the moving truck.
That was in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You mean the box truck?
Yeah.
The one that I lost?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's a totally different story
Yeah,
when
my
I
bad.
when I lost a box truck in Vegas.
Anyways.
But yeah, so I needed him more to sell the story than anything else, you know, because I had to come in as though I was important. And so we get to the salon, or well, going to be salon, the
Right.
boutique, and I walk in, and it's empty because she's already moved her stuff like to the new location. It's basically just these fucking rock wall fountain things in there,
Right. Nothing else.
and that's it. And so I walk in, I'm like, well, this isn't gonna, like, I don't have enough time to mentally like act like I'm casing the place out. It's just I walk in and there's my shit.
Right.
And so, but there's nobody there.
Okay.
It was just empty. And I was like, ugh, okay.
Even better.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I didn't, you know, so, so I pull my truck around the back of the building where the door that leads out of the back of the place is, because that was it's the closest path.
Right.
Like, we're going to load out into this. And so I told Rian,
There you go.
I told him, I'm like, all right, I'm like, just start taking stuff apart. And I'm like, let's go. And so we start taking this stuff apart. And either the landlord was on the property because she has other parcels in this like strip mall thing that she owns, or somebody like narked out real fast.
Right.
Like there's people inside your building taking stuff.
Yeah.
And
they're disassembling everything.
and so she shows up out of nowhere, and she's just standing there
Doing the whole,
for a second,
Can
like
I help you?
with crossed arms and watching us. I'm like, this is awkward.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, Scottsdale's an interesting place, man. People just get up in other people's shit.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
like,
kind of doing that.
you know, and so so she sits there for like maybe like a minute, but you don't know when it's an awkward pause like that, when
It
somebody's
feels like
just
forever.
doing something really weird, and you're like,
Yeah,
okay.
you're like, what am I supposed to do?
So so I look at her and I'm like, hi. And she's like, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm taking my fountains. And she looks at me like, no, those are my fountains.
Right.
I said, well, ma'am, I don't want to get into a debate with you over this. I said, so here's what we're going to do. I am owed money for these fountains still. And so if you would like to take out your checkbook or cash or whatever and give me $10,000 right now, I will stop what I am doing and leave these right here. Otherwise, I am taking my stuff back because it's clear that the owner of this place has left.
Right.
So I'm not going to get my money, so I'm going to get my stuff.
Right.
And she looked at me for a minute, like stared at me like,
Kinda
are you
dumbfounded.
serious? Like,
Yeah.
is this real? Is this happening? And Rian had stopped, like, taking stuff apart. And as I'm talking to this lady, I look at him and I'm like, don't stop.
Yeah,
I said,
keep going.
I said, keep taking that stuff apart. I said, either she's giving us money or we're taking it, but one of those two things is happening. And so he keeps working, and then I'm just looking at her, and she's looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, ma'am, if it's all due, or I forget how I phrased it, but I was like,
It's all the same to you, basically.
because it was like 7:00 at night. At night at this point, and I had actually worked a full day of
Right.
labor already
Yeah,
at
so you're
my
already tired.
yeah, and so I was like, if it's any consolation to you, I'd like to get home sometime tonight.
Yeah.
And so, can you tell me what your decision is? If you would like to pay for these things, I'll happily leave them. If not, I'm taking my stuff. I apologize that this is the situation that we're in, but we are.
Now, did you just kind of pull a number out of your ass, or was it like, oh, like this would at least like allow them to get new ones?
Well, no, I didn't prepare like a number in my head. I just
Okay.
kind of
Came
came
out.
out. I was like, 10 grand.
Yeah, that seems
It-
right.
Well, it seemed like a number that was big enough where she'd be like, fuck it, take that stuff.
Right.
That's kind of how my brain thought when I said it. And so I was right.
Yeah.
Because she finally conceded and said, can you just hurry up? I'd like to close the building. And I'm like,
You're like,
no.
absolutely.
I'm like, I'm never going to take offense to the fact that you're a bitch. But yes, I will hurry up. Trust me. And so we finished taking all these fountains and we loaded them into my truck very nicely. And then I went and I parked my truck like directly across from where her store was at a bar called Dos Gringos.
Okay.
And I walked inside to the table where Chris and Katie were sitting, waiting to see if this would work. And I'm like, well, we got your stuff. And so we had some beers and laughs. Katie did not because she was massively pregnant, like I
Right.
told you. But we had some laughs over the whole situation. And I think at that point, Chris is like,
Something special about this guy.
well, he's like, I'm probably friends with this guy now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's a friendship making move right there.
yeah. And so after that moment, like after that, I obviously kept doing everything with Chris. I still needed a job.
Sure.
And this was before we decided we were going to do anything on our own. And so, I just kept working, and then we kept kind of growing our friendship, and then we would end up doing certain jobs together. And so I think this is probably a good place to end because there's another phase of things that happened where me and Chris got screwed over before we decided to even start our own company. But
Right.
this was a moment where you're like, yeah, we're homies,
What's funny though about what you did, I told one of my buddies that story, and I guess, what is that show, Trailer Park Boys?
Oh yeah,
I guess they had a similar situation where like I think they started taking like tables and furniture from a restaurant, and he was like, oh, like he did this, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about because I've never seen the show.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, like they have a whole bit about that, like they're just like, oh, like they just like say a name like, oh, like Fletcher's gonna be mad if we don't get the stuff right now, like we gotta take it. And I was like, that's kind of fucking funny, like
yeah. I mean,
the fact that works.
well, yes. You might. I don't want to give away thing. I don't want to cause social disarray.
No.
But there are like, if you do things with enough confidence and you have
Usually-
at least a little like intelligence about the situation,
Usually you can get away with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
confidence works. 9 times out of 10.
Right. But yeah, like I said, he told me that and I was like, holy shit, like that's kind of funny.
I'll have to watch that episode. I've only seen like a couple episodes of that show. It's just so
Irreverent.
it's so chaotic.
That too. I
That-
think I tried watching the first episode, got 5 minutes in and went, I'm good.
Yeah. It's a lot of chaos. I'm sure that there's funny character development over the years as it goes on and shit,
That's a
but
lot of commitment.
yeah. So, but yeah,
I'll say that's a short little episode.
yeah, that's good. I think quick hitters are probably better for people. So if you like what we're doing here, smash the
buttons.
thumbs up button. Maybe is there a
Subscribe.
a subscribe button? Maybe if there's a bell.
I think there's a bell
that sends out a signal to all of YouTube that says, "Yo,
they got
you
new shit.
should watch this." Hit that button. Tell your friend or your neighbor. Even if you think they'll hate it, tell somebody that they should watch it just as revenge.
Yeah, just to piss them off.
Yeah, just be a real dick about it.
Be like, there's a great moment in here. You just gotta watch. You'll know when when it happens.
Yeah.
They'll finish the episode and be like, what the fuck was that?
You'll know it when you see it.
That's what's up.
Like Farrah Fawcett hair.
Michael Jackson Thriller.
Anyhow, yeah. So we'll continue going. It's a long-winded story. Like you have to understand that there's like 17 years
of story.
And
this is month 2 maybe at this point.
Yeah, we're like in month 2 of my knowing Chris, and obviously you can't I smoke a lot of pot. I can't break down all 17 years, but there's enough key moments that this will probably take a while.
Yeah.
So anyway, peace.
Bye.